Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Jerry Tope. The Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news, and Dolores County Broadcasting Network provides the support for DCTV.
Here at the News at Noon show, we present news we hope you find interesting and report on local issues and events. Give us a call with news tips or topics you'd like to see covered. The number is 677-4119.
We appreciate you watching DCTV. Today's show is live Tuesday at noon and usually rebroadcast at 2:30 and 8 p.m. and re-aired on Friday at noon, 2:30 and 8.
Today is February 14th, 2017. Now here's the news. Reported by the Cortez Journal, the state Senate adopted a bill upon second reading Monday that would require peace officers to be U.S. citizens. Senate Bill 120 would revoke the peace officer certification of non-citizens after a 5-year grace period for them to obtain citizenship. An amendment adopted on Monday allowed for non-citizen officers to apply for 1-year extensions. SB 120 drew criticism from Democrats who expressed concern over the message it sends in light of the national conversation on immigration and immigrants. This bill does not come before you in a vacuum. It comes before you at a time when the whole subject of immigration, legal, illegal, and the whole fact of immigration is under intense scrutiny and intense debate, said Senator Daniel Kagan, a Democrat of Cherry Hills Village and a former citizen of the United Kingdom. Senator Bob Gardner, Republican of Colorado Springs, said the association of the bill with national debate is unfortunate, as it should be seen as an attempt to answer a state policy question. Gardner, the bill's sponsor, said he did not know how many Colorado law enforcement officers were not citizens. This bill is about peace officers and about what are the qualifications and what are the expectations and what is the right public policy for the requirements for those in our society who use, as the United States Supreme Court describes it, the coercive power of the state, he said. The power includes the right to arrest U.S. citizens, carry concealed firearms, enforce court warrants, and, in extreme cases, use deadly force, he said. Gardner added that the bill should be seen not as an anti-immigrant bill, but as a pro-citizenship bill.
Reported by the Durango Herald, local law enforcement agencies followed suit with statewide efforts to ramp up DUI enforcement for the Super Bowl weekend, which just so happened to coincide with Snowdown. Across the state, the Colorado Department of Transportation announced there were 273 impaired drivers arrested from February 3rd to the 6th, lower than last year's totals of 325 arrests for driving under the influence. Last year, nearly one-third of Colorado's traffic fatalities involved an impaired driver. Darrell Link, director of the Office of Transportation Safety at CDOT, said in a prepared statement. Impaired driving is a major issue CDOT will continue to address to help curb Colorado's traffic deaths. Every time someone chooses to drive impaired, they are putting everyone on the road at risk. Nearly 100 agencies participated in the Heat is On campaign, with the Aurora Police Department recording 29 arrests, Colorado Springs Police Department with 28, and Denver PD with 27 arrests. Semi-locally, the Durango Police Department made 11 DUI arrests at the same time. That's from Lieutenant Ray Shoup. For a Super Bowl weekend amplified by the alcohol-friendly Snowdown Festival, that's about average. Shoup said on a normal weekend the department averages anywhere from 5 to 7 DUI arrests. The department records about 300 DUIs a year, he said. La Plata County Sheriff's Office made 1 DUI arrest on the 6th, Super Bowl Sunday during the day, spokesman Dan Bender said. The Sheriff's Office also assisted the Southern Ute Indian Tribe Police with a DUI on February 3rd. Colorado State Patrol Captain Adrian Driscoll said the agency made 3 DUI arrests over that weekend, 1 on February 3rd and 2 on the 4th.
According to the Cortez Journal, college students on Monday had 2 different bills in the Colorado General Assembly to pay particular attention to. House Bill 1123, which extend hours when alcoholic beverages could be imbibed at bars and restaurants, and Senate Bill 62, which would protect free speech on public higher education campuses. HB 1123 would allow local governments to ignore the current statute, which prohibits sale of alcohol from 2 a.m. to 7 a.m., and push back the last call in Colorado bars if they felt it appropriate. The measure passed second reading on Monday in the House of Representatives. It must clear a third reading and a final vote before going to the Senate for consideration. SB 62, which was debated Friday after a 3-page amendment that defined what forms of expression were protected, was proposed and adopted, passed third and final reading on a 32-2 vote in the Senate and will go to the House. During the debate last week, Senate Democrats voiced concern about a failure to mention voter registration activities. Senator Tim Neville, Republican of Littleton, said Friday this amendment could be added in the House if needed, but changed his tune Monday after consulting with university representatives. In addition to HB 1123 and SB 62, 9 bills passed third reading, 19 passed second reading, and 24 were scheduled for committee hearings.
Another from the Cortez Journal, a marathon hearing by the Colorado House Health Insurance and Environment Committee on abortion bills concluded in the opening minutes of Friday morning. After hours of impassioned debate, all 3 bills died. House Bill 1085 would have required registration of abortion clinics with the Colorado Attorney General. House Bill 1086 would have required doctors to provide information on chemical abortion reversal. And House Bill 1108 would have banned abortions in most cases. They all died on 65 party line votes as Democrats made good on an opening day promise to not tolerate attacks on women or their reproductive rights. Testimony for the last of the bills, House Bill 1108, started after 9:30 p.m. Thursday, with the final votes being cast after midnight. In addition to the early morning wrap-up in the House, 35 bills were scheduled for third readings and final votes, and 11 for second reading between the 2 chambers on Friday. Including the bills receiving a third reading were the Senate Bill 59, which would change the statute regarding the use of turn signals in roundabouts. Colorado law requires that turn signals be used at least 100 feet in advance of changes of lanes or direction. The bill would have removed that requirement in a roundabout, but it died on 16 to 18 vote on the Senate floor. Senate Bill 7, which would repeal the prohibition on high-capacity gun magazines, was passed by the Senate on a 21 to 13 vote. 3 Democrats sided with Republicans in favor of the repeal. Senator Vicky Marble, Republican, Fort Collins, said the repeal rectifies a wrong done to innocent Coloradoans.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, a bill proposing an answer for how to expand broadband access throughout rural Colorado died in the state legislature Monday. Senate Bill 42 would have removed restrictions on local governments for establishing telecommunications infrastructure and providing service, but it was killed on a 4-3 party line vote in the Senate Business, Labor, and Technology Committee. Republicans sided with sticking to the current statute. The statute, which dates from 2005, requires local governments to go to voters with any request to establish broadband infrastructure in the absence of a private provider. SB 42 proponents saw required elections as a waste of time and money that could have been used for expanding broadband access in rural Colorado, where it is not profitable for large companies. Senator Kerry Donovan, Democrat of Vail, said these elections can cost as much as $30,000, and that does not count funds put toward promoting the measures. Opponents argued the bill could allow local governments to undermine the free market for telecommunications in rural areas. Jeff Weiss, executive director of the Colorado Cable Telecommunication Association, said the bill could allow a local jurisdiction to apply for permits to develop infrastructure alongside private businesses and then accelerate its permitting process while slowing down competing permits. Roger Zalneritis, executive director of La Plata County Economic Development Alliance, said this is not the intention of the bill, and many communities are already opting out of the statute, including La Plata County, which did so in 2015. And now let's take a look at the weather.
Early this morning, the clouds were south and east of us, and we were in the clear here just a little earlier than expected in yesterday's forecast. But the clearing overall is as the National Weather Service forecast. And the good stuff will continue through Thursday. The high pressure will build in strength and coverage over the next 36 hours, and any low fog and low stratus clouds will mix out today. Todd was correct about temps being colder than the NWS hopes were for yesterday, and they say that was due to that thicker cloud cover than expected. And that will also mean that today's temps will be a touch cooler than was forecast, but not noticeable in our 5-day. Gunnison and Yampa valleys will be under inversions for longer as there is so little movement to clean them out. So southwest Colorado temps almost across the southwest corner of the state will be a little bit lower than we hoped. Thursday, clouds will increase over eastern Utah and western Colorado as the overall pattern shifts due to the arrival of a series of weak storms that will pass through from Friday into early next week. The leading edge will hit the west coast Thursday and be here the next day sometime. The systems will be quicker movers than the first one is expected to be, and that's expected to affect the northern half of the western slope more heavily, but a little less, nevertheless we'll feel it here in the southern half. Past the first wave, arguments have increased, so we'll give that another 24 hours and see what gives. In the deep south and Texas, a low with upper-level disturbances, courtesy of the activity ahead of the system that just left us. Widespread showers and thunderstorms are likely. Some will be strong to severe, and locally heavy rainfall will occur. Across the Great Lakes region, a northern stream disturbance originating from central Canada will keep snow chances in the forecast through midweek, along with a fresh surge of colder air. This will generate another nor'easter near eastern New England by Wednesday night, but it doesn't appear to be as intense as the previous one that just hammered the region. Lake effect snow is also likely downwind of the Great Lakes. Across the continental U.S., expect weather to become unsettled from or for the Pacific Northwest by Wednesday as the high-pressure ridge begins breaking down and allows a Pacific storm system to come closer to the coast. Wintry precipitation should make it to the northern Rockies by Thursday morning. Sunny to partly cloudy conditions are expected across much of the north-central U.S. over the next few days. This image is a bit warmer than National Weather Service's latest forecast, but still may prove to be good for our broadcast area as we are in the warmest part of the county. So just really close to 50 are expected over the next 5 days for highs, and lows at night will stay in the teens for a couple more nights, for tonight and tomorrow night, then muddle around in the low 30s, with snow and rain mixed weather beginning Friday, carrying on into next week. Now back to the news.
According to the Cortez Journal, as many as 13 companies might be interested in building a solar farm in Montezuma County, Empire Electric Association Representative Clint Rapier told county planning commissioners at their meeting Thursday. A request for proposals has been issued for construction of a solar farm on a 30-acre site southeast of Toten Reservoir, Rapier said. Construction could start as early as April, with the goal to have the project completed by the end of the year, he said. We have been trying to get this to happen for a while, County Planning Director Leanne Milligan said at the meeting. I'm glad to see it coming to fruition. Rapier told Empire Electric, Rapier said Empire Electric owns the parcel and would enter into a lease with a third-party company which would build and manage the solar panels. Empire Electric would then purchase the power generated by the farm and provide it to co-op members. A tri-state electric transmission line runs through the property, so a solar farm could be connected to that, he said. Rapier said the plan is for a 4-megawatt solar farm system, which is comparable to the amount of power Empire Electric's East Cortez substation handles. This will help us meet clean energy goals and move us in the right direction, he said. Solar panels could either be standard panels or a tracking system that moves to follow the sun, he said. There are several options for Empire Electric's potential power purchase agreement with a third party, Rapier said. The agreement could include a piece that would provide energy assistance for income-qualified Empire Electric customers. It could also be a community solar arrangement in which people who are unable to put a panel on the roof of their home could buy into the solar farm, he said. It could also be a straight power buyback, he added. When asked how a solar farm development could generate money for Montezuma County, Milligan said the county would collect property tax revenue. The value of the land, which is vacant, would be increased with the installation of a solar farm, she said.
Last week's CO2 average is in at 406.20. Week before last, 406.48. 1 year ago was 403.84, and 10 years ago in 2007, it was 383.61. In our global warming piece today, just to be fair and also to show that not all the world is giving up on the cause of climate truth, and to say that a little credit is due where a little credit is due, and this credit almost unbelievably goes to a creditor, and one with a much checkered history, and also the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. Wells Fargo, to my own personal shock, and the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation today announced the launch of the Resilient Communities Grant Program of $10 million over the next 4 years. This new program will improve natural resources and enhance local capacity to help communities prepare for expected impacts associated with water quantity and quality issues, forest conservation challenges, and sea level rise. We are pleased to be working with the experts at the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation on this important multi-year community resiliency program, said Mary Wenzel, Director of Environmental Affairs at Wells Fargo. Focusing on resiliency through conservation and capacity building helps communities minimize climate and extreme weather-related impacts while simultaneously improving community well-being and prospects for economic development by enhancing and restoring wetlands, resilient shorelines, urban tree canopies, natural forests, and healthy upstream watersheds. Communities across the country can improve their residents' quality of life, increase resilience, and support wildlife populations. The program places special emphasis on helping low and moderate income communities build capacity for resilience planning. Wells Fargo dedication to the conservation and long-term environmental health of local communities serves as a cornerstone of this public-private partnership designed to improve natural habitats and community resilience throughout the United States. This is said by Jeff Trandall, Executive Director and CEO of the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. Resilient communities will accept applications and award 5 to 10 grants per year supporting the goals of the program. Proposals will be evaluated by their effectiveness in accomplishing regional goals and engaging low and moderate income communities. Applicants may submit proposals through the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation's online system by March 30th, if somebody in Dove Creek's listening. Awards for this program will be announced in the fall of 2017, and for the 2017 round of applications, Resilient Community Grants will emphasize interconnectedness of natural systems, community well-being, using wetlands, coastal habitats, and ecosystems to alleviate future floods, storm events, and sea level rise in the eastern states, in sustaining water quality and quantity through enhanced natural infrastructure in the central United States, and conserving healthy forests, managing wildfire fuels, and restoring habitats for healthy forest ecosystems in the western states. A little credit is due, and this would average only about $2.5 million per each of the 4 years. For a very large country, and obviously more credit and support are needed from many and bigger sources.
Journal, longtime Telluride resident Carrie DiStefano will take over as Rico town manager in May. DiStefano will soon graduate with a degree in environmental planning from the University of New Mexico. She worked 12 years for San Miguel County as the assistant program coordinator for open space and recreation. During that time, she was part of a project to renovate the old Placerville School house into a community center. Another accomplishment is the Colorado Highway 145 underpass built on the Galloping Goose Trail for pedestrians, cyclists, and employee housing residents. She also was involved on a project to convert a gravel pit into Down Valley Park, which included ball fields, a beach area, and bathrooms. DiStefano said she is ready for the challenges of Rico, a secluded mountain town of about 200 residents. Looking into building a central sewer system for the town is one priority. Currently, all businesses and homes use septic systems, some of which are dated. The Colorado Department of Health is taking more interest in regulating septic systems, DiStefano said, because of their potential pollution threat.
By the Durango Herald, another roadblock lies in front of federal protections for a historic wagon road connecting La Plata and San Juan counties. A U.S. Forest Service official said last week an internal policy is expected to stall the listing of the Animas Canyon Toll Road on the National Register of Historic Places. In a meeting with the La Plata County Historic Preservation Review Commission, U.S. Forest Service archaeologist Julie Coleman said agencies including the Forest Service and National Park Service are holding off on placing items in the Federal Register. Before the keepers of the National Register can get it officially listed, a Federal Register notification must be put out, she said. The restriction is not an executive order, but rather an internal policy as federal agencies transition to the new administration, Coleman said. The National Park Service is responsible for placing historic nominations in the Federal Register. The road's nomination was finalized with the U.S. Forest Service District Office last month, and it was submitted to the Regional Preservation Officer, Molly Westby. The document could linger with the keeper of the National Register of Historic Places in Washington, D.C., while officials figure out whether to move forward. Calls to Westby and officials with the National Register of Historic Places were not returned.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of February 6th through the 12th. Deputies are investigating a report from a person who witnessed a suspicious action at a business in the county. A town resident reported separate suspicious activities in town. Deputies are investigating. A deputy responded to a report of a two-way medical alarm at a residence in town. The deputy assisted the resident. A welfare check was requested at a residence in town where juveniles congregate. A deputy responded and found everyone okay. Medical personnel on their way back to Dove Creek from the hospital reported a vehicle that passed them on a double yellow section of roadway, nearly getting into a head-on collision with a tractor-trailer. A deputy responded. That's it for today's roundup. Stay tuned for continuing updates.
Cortez Journal, applications are being accepted for the Four Corners Board of Realtors Dean Hanson Memorial Scholarship. This scholarship can be awarded to traditional and non-traditional students seeking post-secondary or graduate education regardless of year of enrollment who are a resident of Montezuma or Dolores counties. Selection criteria include scholarship, leadership, and financial need. Application deadline is April 15th. Applications need to be mailed or turned into the Four Corners Board of Realtors at 350 West Montezuma Avenue, Suite A, Cortez, Colorado 81321, or emailed to fourcornersboard@gmail.com, or can be dropped off at your counselor's office. Applications are available at the counselor's office in the high schools in Montezuma and Dolores counties, or at the Four Corners Board of Realtors office at the above address via email and or online at fourcornersboardofrealtors.net. For more information, call 970-565-0112.
Thanks for tuning in. A reminder that this program is aired live at noon Monday through Wednesday, then rebroadcast at 2:30 and 8 p.m., and again aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order at noon, 2:30, and 8 p.m. each day respectively.
And check us out on Facebook and YouTube replays. Like us there, join the local conversation, and share it with a friend.
For Jerry Tope and everyone at DCTV with the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. See you next time.